Hello, today we're going to present to you the import process of Mazda Colombia S.A.S. Our group is conformed by Manuel Silva, Juan Diego Valero, and who is talking, Isabela Carreño. So next is the index. What do this inform include? First, we're going to present to you the information of the company. Second, we're going to explain to you the steps to make this importation. And third, the reference of this importation. Next is the information of the company. Mazda is known internationally for its tenacious and innovative spirit and has touched the hearts and minds of customers around the world for decades with iconic vehicles. Its headquarters is in Hiroshima, Japan, with its main production facilities in Japan, Mexico, China, and Thailand. By the end of 2021, a new plant will begin operations in the US. R&D centers in Japan, the US, and China. Its design studios are in Japan, Germany, and the US, and it sales it's in more than 130 countries and regions with a global volume of 1,110,000 vehicles during the fiscal year ended in March 31 in 2023.
Okay, the first step to make an importation for Mazda Colombia is the registration with the Chamber of Commerce and the DIAN and obtaining the NIT. The route is the mechanism to identify, locate, and classify the subjects of obligations administered and controlled by the entity. Mazda will have to present the certificates of existence, legal representation, identification of the legal representative, and basic information of the company. The NID is 8600025153 is the unique Colombian number that assigns the DM for a single time when the obligated enrolls in the route. The registration must be processed specifying that Mazda will to import. And in this case, for legal person, the process have to do in Bogota on race 6, number 1532. Okay, the second step is the tariff classification. Mazda from Colombia will import plastic and its manufacturers, the other plastic manufacturers and manufacturers of the other materials in items 39.01 and 39.14. And the others as screws, washers, and similar accessories for general use. Within the profile of the merchandise, there are six important points. The first is the regimen of the goods. There is a modality code that is C100. It is an ordinary import, and there is also a free import thanks to the international program of the Colombian economy. Secondly, about the import requirements, what documents do I need to import? In this case, no additional documents are required to carry out the importation. Okay, about the taxes to be paid are the tariff tax of 10% and the IVA of 19%. In the alphabetical index for imports, there are three other important points about the merchandise, and that is that they are plastic washers, plastic bolts, and plastic screws.
Okay, the third step is the import market and feasibility study. It's responsibility of the importer, but in this case, let's talk a little about the company from which the merchandise will be purchased. It is actually the same brand. In this case, more than a purchase, it's work as a manufacturer of more parts to ensemble here in Colombia under the same brand. The company is located in Japan, the country of origin. The supplier abroad is Mazda Motor Corporation, located in Hiroshima, and this is a address and the email.
Okay, the step number four, international quotation request. Um, Here we have invoice template and the number of the invoice will be HZ07. In this invoice, we have to include the company and product information, the terms of negotiation, and the Incoterm. In this step, the seller has to send the pro forma invoice to the buyer, which includes the price of the products ordered with all the costs to bring the goods to the delivery point previously agreed between the two parties. And a pro forma invoice has no physical or accounting value. It's simply a document in which the details of a future final invoice will be specified. Uh, it isn't mandatory, but we can say that it allowed to add security to the importation.
The fifth step is the approval of the previous license if it's required. For this kind of importation, we check in the DAM page and there is no support document is specified. Therefore, for the import of Mazda de Colombia SAS, there is no prior license approval required. The step 6 is the receipt of the commercial invoice. This is an administrative document supporting of the declaration of both export and import in which the condition of sales of the goods are set. It must be issued by the exporter and contain information of the exporter, his country, the importer, the description of the merchandise, the value of the merchandise, currency of negotiation, form and condition of payments, negotiated Incoterm, and the origin of the merchandise and means of transportation. The exporter, in this case, it's Mazda Motor Corporation. The importer is Mazda de Colombia S.A.S. The description of the merchandise is Mazda spare parts for vehicles. The total settle is 11,000 US. The total paid is $0. The currency of the subject of negotiation is $3,700. The form and condition of payments are direct draft payment. The Incoterm negotiated with FCA because of the means of transport, which is code for air transport, and the origin of the merchandise is Japan. The step 7 is the payment of an import. Payment terms can be established by both the exporter and the importer and depend on many factors such as financing needs, legal and exchange regulations that arise in a foreign trade operation. In this case, Mazda de Colombia is using direct draft payment. Mazda de Colombia agrees the purchase terms with the exporter and issues a purchase order. The exporter sends the shipping documents. Mazda instructs its bank to make a direct draft by wire transfer or international check. The bank makes payment to the exporter and can finance Mazda up to 180 days from the shipping document. The exporter then confirms the receipt of payment and Mazda records the transaction for accounting purposes. The step 8 is the issuance of the certificate of origin. The certificate of origin is the document issued by a competent entity by means of which is accredited that a merchandise qualifies as originated in accordance with the rules established in the different trade agreements. The objective of the same is to control the entry of goods that affect the Colombian industry with unequal competition and seeks to protect products and sectors with anti-dumping or countervailing measures. To obtain the certificate of origin, Mazda SAS must gather documents such as the commercial invoice and the manufacturer's declaration that support the origin of the goods. Then, you must submit an application to an authorized entity such as Chamber of Commerce of the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, and Tourism. The entity reviews and validates the information and issues the certificate of origin. This document is essential for import operations, facilitating customs clearance and allowing access to tariff benefits under commercial agreements. Finally, Mazda SAS presents the certificate to the customs authorities of the importing country.
Okay, in the ninth step about contracting of transport insurance, it is responsibility of the importer or exporter according to the negotiation term used. Okay, in the DIAN web page, we have the codes of transportation mode. In this case, the code is number 4. The international transportation will be by the air. The document that proves that the merchandise was loaded on the means of air transport is the airway bill. You can see the template in the left side here. Um, It is the delivery receipt and insurance policy, but it does not prove the ownership of the merchandise. Additional, this document is issued by the air carrier, in this case Atlas Air is the company, and includes information about the sender, concerning point of origin and destination, merchandise and transport conditions. Mainly, it must be submitted to Mazda de Colombia S.A.S.
Okay, another important thing is the in this step is the code about the assembly class. According to the CS code, the merchandise must be transported in boxes without additional specification.
I will talking about the arrival of goods at time. Basically, these steps allow the work with which all the papers are in order and correct before air transportation arrive in Colombia. So we need the team. It's a principal required document. We have two documents more are taken in account as per our by necessary, which are the packing list and on the area we bill, in which Mazda must have the clarity to be asked the rings and the westward the goods and other things they come on the in our country. For this step, this is step 11, admission to deposit or a free zone. This step talking about of the entry to the warehouse or a free zone. And once the merchandise arrives in Colombia, it must be the transported to the design bonding warehouse or free zone. Delivery is made by the international carrier of a freight forward. Is indicate the transportation documents Mazda will have. Uh, Two things is very important to clarity. The biggest one is to 2 days workings following the submission of the discharge report and the inconsistencies on the airport. And the second one is the 5 working days when it's unloading taking in the place in airport. These are two things that have a clarity of this topic on this step because we need to do what is the best option in which moment have to move our merchandise in the country. For the step 12 is a physical review of a good customer agency or claim. First of all, we need to make the inspection, informe inspección previa. This is a process in performance of the by the importer of customers agency to inspect the goods and verify their acquisition quantity, weight, nature, and status prior to the installation. The place, date and time inspection must be notified to the customs in advance by means of electronic computer or services by email. So we need to have the check in the list what have the of the description of the on the merchandising have in our this topic. So after that. Uh, you means in advance by electronic computer services or by email. You have any answer of this step. For this step 13, nationalization of goods, we don't have and we don't know any document because for this step, all documents and all the process are very clear and correct to do and stay in this step. Actually, this is talking about the freely market without any restrictions and when in the national territory. The importer or his customer must present at the end solicit all the documents, and when once verified, you will have to help to make the last step for the lifetime merchandise and it's free trade. For the last step is a refund of important payment and processing of change declaration, important and bank. In this case, the Bank of Colombia will review all documents submitted before. If it is correct, will process it to your phone, the excess customs taxes, and importers account. It is very important to note they has maximum period of 2 years after the date of payment of the customer taxes and to require reimbursement of the plus surplus. In addition, the important must fill the chain declaration with the DIAN within 5 working days and payment of the import. Uh, more information about this step is one or two documents more really important is eh, el documento número uno del registro del Banco de la República is talking about the how the process of the Bank of the Republic of the Colombia have to make the reimburse of the all taxes and the all payments when you have after the date do you make the merchandise work in Colombia. This is all. For to conclude, this is our reference. We work with these pages, and yeah, is that all. Thank you so much for review our presentation and our topic. Bye.